Look at this face. Does it ring a bell? This man had a YouTube channel for quite a while. Then he went away for a year or so. Now he's back. Listen to his voice carefully. Maybe you'll remember who he is.
From time to time, there is an item on the news about some ramshackle vessel full of migrants from an impoverished part of the world coming to grief on the high seas. There was such an occurrence not long ago when a ship heading for Italy, containing mainly Eritreans and Ethiopians, sank with some 300 deaths. For the people concerned, this was indeed a disaster. But was it such bad news for Italy, or for the rest of Europe? Did not nature perform a task that the Italian navy should have been ready and willing to perform?
Despite a calm, peaceful-sounding voice, this person has a very chilling message, doesn't he? He is known as Atana, and, although he denies it, he is a racist through and through. Let's see how he defines races.
When we speak of racial differences, therefore, we are essentially speaking of family differences, albeit very much an extended family. But of course, there are differences between the races, just as there are differences between members of a family.
That doesn't sound very racist now, does it? But let's listen a bit more to what he has to say about races and evolution.
It is supposed that the various human races that we see today have all evolved from some missing link. Never mind that this mysterious creature has never been found. The missing link is a supposition, or if you prefer, a theory. But we are under no obligation to assume that it is a fact. If there really was a long process of evolution by means of which the diverse human racial groups came to fruition, from the original humans, whom scientists claim to have been black Africans, there must have been numerous intermediary types. After all, we are always being told by scientists that evolution is a long, drawn-out process. Very long and very drawn out. So where then is the evidence within the human fossil record for all these intermediary racial types? If the black, brown, white, red and yellow races of today have all arisen by a long evolutionary process, then we should reasonably expect to find at least some fossil remains of this process.
Not only does he show that he doesn't understand anything about human evolution, but he seems to have changed his way of looking at the differences between races. To me, it doesn't sound any more like the human family he first described. So, is he a racist or not? Let's find out how he describes himself.
For my own part, I would call myself a race creationist. I believe that there are distinct human races and that these various races came into being by divine decree. Let me stress at this point that race creationism is most certainly not the same thing as biblical creationism. You can be an ardent supporter of the evolutionary theory and still be a race creationist. Race creationism clearly requires belief in a creator, but the manner by which the races actually came into being is a secondary consideration, a point of detail rather than the essence of the matter. If you believe that the different races arose through divine decree, as I do, then each and every people has the right to preserve their own racial group. Such efforts are entirely legitimate and enjoy the mandate of heaven.
So, we've got the right to protect our own racial groups, do we? How far do you think we should go to keep our races pure, Atana?
If you allow one boatload of third world migrants to land on your shores, then you will find it very hard to prevent further boatloads of migrants doing so. The boats carrying them must be sent to the bottom of the sea. And no, the naval vessels performing this grim task must not hang around to pick up any survivors. That would rather defeat the object of the original exercise. One sunk migrant boat will serve notice of intent. 10 sunk migrant boats would probably mean that your country no longer had a problem.
Kill both people. Send them and their ships to the bottom of the sea. What a horrible, pitiful little man you are, Atana. But folks, someone like him has at least one hero he looks up to. Care to find out who his hero is?
What Europe needs now is a new Oliver Cromwell. A righteous man, an implacable man, a God-believer, understanding of the Jews, but not enthralled to them. A man ready and willing to strike down with an iron hand all those who threaten or betray the civilization that the white man has created in Europe. Shall I tell you what really happened on Utøya Island? This is what really happened. The sword of God went to and fro.
Atana may look like a mild-mannered, soft-voiced man, but I can't help but think of him as nothing else but a monster.